Olamide Zaccheaus. Did I get it?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So out here, I got pads on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not new to this. Talk to me about how you see yourself out here with this new team.
Uh, I feel like I can help this offense in a lot of different ways, and obviously coming into a new team, new coach, new GM, new owner, like there's a lot of moving parts, that we're kind of figuring out on the go, but it's been fun, and I'm just trying to help this team win games and put points on the board.
How you seen yourself as far as inserted into this new offense, new coaches, new team, and all of that? Where have you seen yourself accelerating?
Really anywhere. Like I've grown to the point where I'm just confident in my ability. It doesn't matter where I line up on the field. I know that I can perform at a high level. So whether I'm inside, outside, I can be in the backfield. It doesn't matter to me. Like I'm just that confident in what I'm able to do. So, like I said, I'm just here to help the team put points on the board, help the team win games.
Talk about the wide receiving group overall. I mean, you got some Terry McLaurin and Dotson, and the room goes on, including yourself. Talk about that group and how you see that group.
I think we have a lot to prove, not only to ourselves but to the outside world. And I'll just leave it at that. Like we know what's at task and what's at stake, and we're just going in each and every day trying to improve and get better each day.
More so, just wait and see, right?
Yeah, like we got some things to prove. We got some things to get better at, and I'm excited about what this room can do.
Talk about the quarterback position and just the offense in general. How are you seeing that in this early stages of camp?
Yeah, obviously, Jaden is a young guy, but I think early on he showed a lot of composure and poise with handling the offense and being able to go through his reads and progressions and stuff like that. And then, Marcus as well, like he's a seasoned vet, played with him on 2 different teams now, so, he brings a different element to this offense as well. And, I think the quarterback room has been doing really good so far. And like I said, it's just about improving and getting better and getting on the same page with them each and every day.
Got the Jets coming up in a inter-squad scrimmage. Is that a telltale to kind of like find out a little bit more where this team is offensively?
A little bit. It's always different when you compete against another team. And, it's not – it doesn't define us as a team, but it definitely, puts things into perspective on what we need to get better at, when we're competing against other squads and stuff like that. So it'll be fun, and, I can't wait for that.
Thanks for taking the time out with me today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mitch, second week of camp in the pads. How do you see this team and how do you see yourself right now?
I see it as a team that is constantly getting better each and every day. For us, we just kind of one play at a time mentality. We're not overthinking anything, just kind of trying to get cohesive as a unit. And then individually, I feel like, I'm just taking it one day at a time, one play at a time, and not overthinking anything and just going out there and having fun.
Wide receiver competition is wide open. I mean, Coach Quinn talked about competition among this team overall. What is the key for you to land on this roster this year?
Again, it's not to overthink anything. Go out there. I know my game. I know what I'm capable of doing. And, whatever else happens is out of my control. So for me, it's just go out there, play one play at a time, and just focus on my assignments. That's about it.
How would you assess yourself this year with the new coaching staffs, with what they're trying to bring out each player? Because they said that what they want to do is really bring out the skill sets of each guy. What have you seen in your game this year overall?
I feel like they allow my versatility to show, playing both outside and inside, being able to run all the routes in the route tree, just, giving me that opportunity. So I feel like for me personally, that's what, this offense, these coaches have allowed me to do.
What about the coaching staff this year?
As far as what?
What do you think about them? Can you just see how they really have transformed this team already?
I feel like they're bringing in a lot of good energy this year. Everybody's positive. Everybody's, next play mentality. They're not, harping on anything that happened bad in the last play or even the good things. It's about just next play, one play at a time. So I feel like, everybody has a positive mindset and everybody is looking towards the future.
Talk about the wide receiver group in general, as what you're seeing in that whole group as far as the growth there in this early stage of training camp.
Well, I think we got a lot of depth. So I'm saying everybody making plays each and every day. There's a different guy that can make a play, and I think as far as our depth, any guy can go in there and make a play whenever they get the opportunity. So I don't feel like any lights is too big for anybody. I think everybody's ready for the task at hand.
Offense overall, as far as your quarterbacks back there, Jaden Daniels, Mariota, and all those guys, the offense overall, how are you seeing this offense in the early stages?
I think we're taking a lot of positive strides each day. We got a lot of walkthroughs and things we're doing, a lot of player ran stuff that we're doing also. So I think as a unit we're doing pretty well as far as coming together, being on the same thing, doing making sure we're on point.
Do you think that there's anything else that you would like to insert into your game even more so as you go through finishing up training camp and also getting ready for the inter-squad scrimmage against the Jets?
Not really one thing. Just chopping wood, carrying water, just one day at a time, and really just my mental game as far as just not worrying about whatever else is going on, with what the defense is doing or whatever. Just focusing on what my assignment is, attacking, and making plays when I get my opportunity.
Funny that you said that, because a lot of players who came up to talk to me talked about the mental side of all of this.
Yeah, I mean, really any sport, but especially this one. I mean, it's more mental than physical. I didn't put all the work in all off season. I've done what I needed to do to get my body in condition, to be in shape. So for me, the physical part is not really the tough part. It's up here. What do you do when you drop a pass? What do you do when something doesn't go your way? Or what do you do, or when something does go your way? How do you bounce back the next play and focus on that play and not focus on, the play you had before? So.
Hey, Mitch, I'm always asking people that I like people to know people outside of football. So if fans would want to know something about you outside of football, or you would want people to know about who you are as a person, well, who would that person be?
Me as a person, I'm kind of introverted. I'm not scared to talk to people or anything like that. I'm open to talking to people, but I'm kind of introverted, kind of to myself. But for me, I'm really a nerd when it comes to this football, and this is what I've always loved to do. Whether little league, whatever. I just love competing. So really, this is what I love to do, and I play little video games on the side too. So.
Hey, he threw that in. He loves video games. I play a little bit, but I'm not going to compete against you because I know Jahan. I told him the same thing.
Yeah.
But Mitch Tinsley, number 18. This is a guy that has had a solid camp so far, so this is a guy that you need to keep your eyes on. Here with 89, Bryce Tremayne, and week 2, we're getting ready to get into the meat of things. How are you coming along? Talk to me about your process.
I mean, I feel good coming along, just through OTAs and being here, being my second year here, and being able to be here a little bit earlier with the whole offense and the new coaches. I feel like I've definitely grown a lot. And being my second year with Coach Bobby now, I just feel like I've grown a lot. And like the older guys, the vets like Terry, Jahan, Diami, have helped me. So I feel good. I feel good coming into camp. And
how have you grown in this, being your second year under new coaches? What are you seeing as far as your growth?
I feel like just physically, I feel, bigger and stronger and faster than last year. And then mentally, just with the playbook, my comfort with the playbook and the new offense, I feel a lot more comfortable on the field, whereas last year I maybe was a little more antsy.
Yeah. The coaches talked about making things simple for the players instead of throwing a lot of things at them, like, let's just say, 3 or 4 things at one time. They're breaking it down to say, hey, we're going to make sure that you get this one thing first, then we move on. How has that helped you in the process of learning this offense?
I think it's helped a lot. They make it very progressive, where they teach one thing and it leads into the next thing, and then with the whole schedule DQ is put together throughout the day. I feel like it really invites and invites learning and learning it in a strategic way, to where we see it and then we break off with the receivers and we learn it in that group and then we walk through it and then we practice it the next day. So it's very, strategic in the way we're learning it, and it's made it a lot easier for us to just get out there and play fast.
And not have to think about it so much, but just go and do it.
Exactly. The more you're thinking, the slower you're probably playing. So it's allowing us to play fast.
Yeah, Coach Quinn talked about, the receiver group is loaded. I mean, everybody is jarring for positions to be on this final roster. Where do you think your impact is the most? Because Coach Quinn talked about special teams also, as far as seeing you and how you're playing even on special teams.
Yeah, I think special teams is probably, one of the biggest things for me going into this season. And, showing Coach Izzo, where I'm valuable at for him, so I can get that and then get an opportunity on offense. Because, special teams for a guy like me always comes first. So I've just been trying to, play fast in that too, and show my worth and value to special teams.
Hey, the coaches are saying the more positions you can play, the more value you add to this team.
Of course, yeah.
So going back to the offense, in the second year, looking at last year and just this year in what the offense is trying to do, how do you see the offense right now, having Jayden Daniels back there as the quarterback and even Mariota? What are you seeing from this offense overall?
I just see, a bunch of guys, helping each other grow. Like, Mariota has obviously been in the league for a while now, and you got Jeff too, and you got Sam, and you got Sam and Jayden, who are, rookies. So I see the vets helping the young guys a lot, and just making sure everything's, running smoothly and everyone's playing fast. And, I've seen great balls from every single one of those guys throwing, Sam today, Jayden, Mariota, Jeff. So it's really cool to see, and I think it's a really good group they got over there.
So in being on this roster at the end, what do you think that you've done to basically say, I think that I've done a pretty good job so far of making my case to be on this team when it's all said and done?
I feel like just going out there and just doing my job, making the plays when the ball is thrown to me and being more consistent. That's what, I was talking to Terry the other day, and he was saying, okay, you've made a few plays, but can you do it the next day? Can you do it the next 2 days? Can you do it in the preseason games? So I think just being more consistent and still making those big plays is what will, show the coaches my value for this team.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. Coach Quinn talked about consistency, not doing it one time, but doing it consistently in practices and scrimmages and all that. How big is this game coming up against, this inter-squad scrimmage coming up against the Jets and that first preseason game for you in making sure that you are consistent in your play when you get the opportunity?
I think with the joint practice, I'll come at it, just like, any other practice. And, I've, trained a lot for this and through OTAs and now camp. So, I don't feel like I have to, do anything differently. Just try doing the same thing, that same routine I've been getting myself in through camp and OTAs, and just go out there and play fast.
Are you having fun?
I'm having a lot of fun.
Week number 2 is about to get real interesting as the Commanders get ready to go up and in a squad scrimmage with the Jets and also a first preseason game. So, I want to talk to you about the wide receivers because I had a chance to talk to a couple of people with that group as far as Tinsley, Tremayne, and some of the guys that are jarring for those positions. So I want to talk to you about what are you seeing from that group, because it's a lot of talent there and a lot of people are still jarring for positions. But how do you see those guys beyond the first 3 guys to make this roster?
I mean, it's a great question, and I think that they have something that they haven't had in a long time. They have quality depth in the making. Obviously, Terry Jahan and Luke McCaffrey are your 1 through 3. But I think that there's other guys that are there. Obviously, Diami Brown was a guy that they've had the organizations had high intentions on, but this is a new regime, so he's not really their guy. So he's, having to win them over as well. But he's a guy that does give you the vertical game, the deep threat. We saw a couple of those today where they went to him. So he's still in the mix. But then you have a guy like Bryce Tremayne, from Stanford, who has some size on him at 6'4". He's having one of the better camps of any receiver out here. So, how do you keep a guy like that off the roster? Because what teams do around the league is they're going to look at that game tape and they're going to see that he's made plays. So if Washington were to try to stash him on the practice squad, he's going to be picked up. So you have to really weigh that into consideration as far as putting him on the roster.
Talk a little bit about Mitch Tinsley and Bryce Tremayne and
Yes.
what you're seeing out of those two guys.
Yeah, and I think their dual role because of their strength and their speed, where they also have a good special teams role as well. What I've seen for both of them is they're very intentional about getting better. For instance, for Bryson, one of the things he was really trying to work on was his releases from press coverage. And so you saw that from pre-practice, from post-practice, individual work, into releasing against the guys. So, like, what I've been impressed by him and for the staff is this is something I want to get better at. And here's my plan of how to do it. And we dedicate, 5 minutes before practice or 5 minutes after practice just for that skill development. So Bryson's one that has taken advantage of that time. I want to get better at these releases, and then I've seen that at practice. With Tinsley, I think I feel the speed, I feel the strength. He's probably jumped out more just based on the rep side on the special teams versus offense, but he does have the size and the strength to be featured in a lot of different places, so he's been impressive to me too.